Narwal has released their first model of 2025, the Freo Pro. And if you missed my review last year, I took a look at the Z Ultra, their top tier model. And to say the least, I was super impressed. Finally, a robot vacuum that has actual anti-tangle technology that works. The new Freo Pro is being released as a replacement for their 2022 model, the Freo. So we need to find out if this is a sizable, worthwhile 2025 upgrade. There's only one question left to ask. Is this good or bad tech? I make weekly videos helping consumers like you pick through the bloated tech market and find products that actually work. If you enjoyed the video and it helped you out just a little bit, hit the subscribe button right down below. The Narwal Freo Pro is a complete Robo Vac plus mop combo with a very similar base to the X Ultra. The only noticeable difference I can tell anyways is the little touchscreen is removed, replaced with just a little button, and on top of that they also removed the detergent. So this was that replaceable floor cleaner that would automatically go into the machine. Instead, Narwal is moving over to little tablets. Me, myself, I personally just use a little bit of floor cleaner inside. The main unit has an identical look and features two previous models that I've tested. It has two spinning mop heads, two rotating brushes on the side, and your main roller, which comes equipped with their anti-tangle technology. If you have a ton of pets, this anti-tangle technology is a lifesaver. We'll be going over some examples of what it can handle a little bit later in the video. Let's start by taking a look at the main upgrades and differences with the Freo Pro. Suction power is something Narwal clearly wanted to see go up with this model. It comes equipped with 8,500 PA of suction. Now that is a major jump from the Freo, which was only 3,000. And on top of that, it's still a jump from the X Ultra, which was only 8,200. The mop heads now deliver 7 to 12 newtons of downward force, depending on the type of surface, where the previous Freo model only had around 6 newtons of downward pressure. On top of that, this model comes equipped with their automatic cleaning and drying directly inside the base station. The Freo Pro comes equipped with their DirtSense AI 1.0 and DirtSense AI 2.0, which help to sense areas that need more cleaning or specific objects. Now, the only part that I could find that is a downgrade is the obstacle avoidance technology. So in this case, the Freo Pro uses just laser structured light, where the previous Freo and X Ultra used the tri-laser technology. So how does this affect the actual obstacle avoidance technology? Well, let's take a look. I wanted to start by testing out the obstacle avoidance capabilities. And to do this, I set up a little course in my living room. I tried to use typical obstacles that will end up on your ground, such as remotes, maybe bundles of cords, cat toys, just very simple things that you yourself will probably have on your floor at some point. I also put a little bit of coffee grinds and sugar on the ground just to see how that 8,500 PA suction would perform. So I turned it on, and directly through Narwal's app, you're able to select which rooms you wanted to clean. So I had it focused just on the living room. The first thing I wanted to note is the obstacle avoidance. And I think you can definitely tell a difference in the laser structure that's used. Any object that had a decent height to it, such as a few of my cat toys, well, it did an amazing job working around them and cleaning every inch right next to it, almost completely avoiding the toy entirely. But there were some objects, such as remotes, and I also had my dog's nail clippers that got hit and at some points stuck underneath the machine. And even my laptop cord that I left on the ground ended up getting pulled around a bit. Now, this wasn't the biggest deal. It worked itself out and eventually cleaned around it, and nothing really got damaged, but it is important to note out that there's a difference here. For instance, I set up my Z Ultra in the exact same room with pretty much the exact same core setup. Now, this is their top model that has the tri-laser technology plus the dual RGB cameras. And even with smaller objects such as the remote or the nail clippers, it worked directly around them. So just to show you, there is a notable drop off from the Freo Pro and their top model. Now, in terms of suction power, this did a great job cleaning up the coffee grinds and the sugar that I put on the ground. In fact, I don't think it missed a single spot anywhere, and it didn't just spread it. It cleaned it up and sucked it inside of that chamber. Just checking in on that dustbin after this first cycle, you can see there was a ton of hair, dirt, and grime already collected inside of it. For test number 2, you know we had to check out those dual spinning mop heads with that new increased pressure. What better way to demonstrate this than with a couple likely kitchen messes that you yourself might have from time to time. A little bit of spilled coffee, and maybe your kid threw a little bit of Greek yogurt on the ground. Now, typically with these Robo mop vacuum combos, you do want to try to dab up any excess amount of liquid before you have it run a cleaning cycle. But I really like to push these to the max and see what they can handle. So I left all that liquid, all that Greek yogurt on the ground, and set it to kitchen only and let it do its thing. Over a period of around 15 minutes, it was able to clean up both the coffee and the Greek yogurt, but with a little bit of caveats here. This machine is not meant to suck in that excess dirty water. So to an extent, it does end up spreading it on the ground a little bit. And you can definitely see that while it's going through the cleaning cycles. With that being said, even with all this excess liquid, it did a pretty good job. At the end of the 2 cleaning cycles I set it to, the whole mess was cleaned up, you couldn't even tell. Now, what you will notice is if you have stuff that can get stuck to the vacuum, it can happen. And in this case, some of that Greek yogurt got stuck on the roller and also the side brushes and the big wheels. But the dual spinning mop heads are a different story because the machine auto cleans them and dries them off. They actually looked pretty good after. So just good to know that yes, you should always clean up excess messes, but this can handle quite a bit. Now, before we get to test number 3, which is gonna be something everybody can relate to, one area I was always super impressed with Narwal was their anti-tangle roller brush. But they stepped it up even from their top model with this new Freo Pro. Check out this new feature. So this right here is their top model, the Z Ultra. And I want to show you what their side brushes look like. You can see their stiff design and they don't really retract at all. Well, one common problem you get with these side brushes is hair eventually gathering up inside. You can see we have quite a big collection here. It's not a big deal, it's easy to solve, but it does happen. Well, check out the difference with the new Freo Pro. This new model has these retractable side spinning brushes, which work to actually pull the hair out of the roller brush, but detangle at the same time. And I want to show you how it works. So we have this big pile of cat hair. Luckily, I have an unlimited supply. And we're gonna start by getting it caught up inside our roller brush, just like that. Now, as the roller brush is spinning, it's eventually, there's no air on right now, so it's not actually sucking it in. It's gonna work its way over to that floating side. Now, this is where we're going to activate our spinning brushes. Now, typically these roller brushes will collect hair, but they have this new technology that allows them to articulate and reverse, taking the tension off the hair and allowing it to release and eventually get sucked up. So here's what it looks like in reverse. Watch as it comes together. You can see the brushes now articulate, pushing together, allowing that hair to release. A pretty cool, great new feature. So now that you have a better idea of how the anti-tangle system works, and trust me, I have 2 cats, one there, and I have this big monster right here. And when I'm telling you this thing is anti-tangle and I have rarely had to touch the side roller brushes or main roller brush, I mean, it is anti-tangle. But now let's get to test number 3, because if you have a dog or you have kids and they play in the mud, then you know your floors, yeah, they get like this. Those are little doggy prints all from the mud. But that also now means we can test how well this does with those little mud stains that I know we are all used to. So the task is completed. I pretty much had it clean my whole hallway area, but I left the bathroom with some muddy paw prints so you can see the difference. And in my opinion, this is actually exactly where this Robo vacuum really thrives, is small, common messes that it can continue to do every day to keep your floor overall pretty clean. So here is our freshly cleaned floor. And as we get to the bathroom, there's our muddy paw prints. So you can see kind of that line of where it stopped cleaning, but it did a very good job. We are gonna do one final test. And for this one, I have not used my Robo vacuums, and I have multiple ones, for over 5 days. And this means hair on the ground. We got muddy footprints. We have cat throw up, which just happened. So no, I did not clean that up. That has not been sitting there. But the whole point of this test is we are gonna utilize their Freo Mind mode. And this is where their Dirt Sense AI technology comes into play, because it's going to focus on and clean all the messy areas, putting extra attention when there's muddy footprints or a lot of hair. This way, if your kitchen is clean but everything else is dirty, you don't have to set specific rooms. It will only clean the small little mess you might have in your kitchen. But how well does this actually work? So we are officially done our cleaning cycle on Freo Mind mode. It took around 2 hours, so it was a little slow. One thing I've noticed about this model is it has to go back and forth to the base station a lot more when mopping. That doesn't happen with the Z Ultra or the X Ultra that I have. With that being said, the Dirt Sense AI technology did a very good job. Now, did it miss some spots? Yes, it missed some clumps of hair, it missed a few muddy spots, but overall, it was able to pick up on most the messes. And combining this with the extra pressure that these mop heads offer over the Freo model and the increase of 8,500 PA suction power, this thing's a beast. But even more than that, this thing is affordable. So here's the thing. Narwal's Freo model was already a pretty affordable vacuum and mop combo, complete with a base station. What they did was basically take that 2-year-old model and transform it, turning it into the Freo Pro, while adding a ton of new features. You know, companies do this very often where they do these incremental increases. But in this case, you're getting a lot of their newer technology for the exact same price they were already selling the Freo at. And even better, on launch day, the Freo Pro is gonna be dropped down from that $699 to $599. And like always, I'll include any coupon codes, always updated down below in the description or in the comments. And that means for the Freo Pro, I think we can call this good tech. The reality is, if you want something that is going to take care of your pet's hairs, and also keep your floors maintained, this is the perfect thing for you. Now, if you're expecting this to clean up all of your mess every single day without you ever having to wipe anything, that's not what these things really do. It's amazing for any of you that have a busy life and you just can't be mopping and vacuuming multiple times. And when you have a lot of furry friends, it's the perfect at-home accessory. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of Bad Tech. I got a super cool product coming up from Eufy. It's one of their brand new smart locks for your front door that instead of a fingerprint reader, it reads the veins in your palm that are unique to yourself, and it's able to unlock your door with that. If that doesn't sound like futuristic tech, I don't know what is. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe down below. Thanks.